channel, everybody. Today I wanted to introduce a new segment that I'm going to be doing, and hopefully it's received well. It's going to be called The Trail Till Now. So essentially, when I first started creating content on this platform, I was looking to just help the community, right? When I first got into the Jeeping world, it was basically transitioned from a truck to a Wrangler JL. And the first time that I went out to go do some off-roading, I went to Gold Mountain and ran across this group of guys that had Jeeps, and they helped me through that trail. Otherwise, I was going to turn around and not go and do that because I didn't have the experience or the knowledge to get through a trail like that, or the confidence. So they brought me in, got through the whole trail. Everything went great on a stock Rubicon JL, which obviously I still have now as the orange one. But when I started wanting to modify my vehicle, I decided to start making these install videos and basically putting them out on the platform so that it could help others and be able to you could do your installs on your own. And so Xfil Off-Road was created essentially. And I spent 5 years in the military, active duty Army, and off-roading for me, as being outdoors for me, has always been a way of transitioning the stress of life into something else and kind of getting away from things and having a good time outdoors. So I've thoroughly always enjoyed hunting, fishing, and then now off-roading for the last several years. The point behind the Xfil Off-Road brand was basically, in the military, there's a term called exfiltrate, right? So it's when you leave your combat area, you're pulling out. So to me, everyday life, society, all these stressors, the constant strain of all these responsibilities that we have, to me, it was, I wanted to leave that. So Xfil, right, as the relation to military service. Now the series that I want to start doing and transition into, because both of my Jeeps are essentially, for the most part, built. There isn't going to be a ton of content for doing installs on these vehicles because, for the most part, they are the way that we want them. So to transition, I decided to create content still relatable to people, and still experience related, and kind of be able to pull people into that atmosphere of going out and doing something when maybe you can't, because there's plenty of times where I can't. Obviously, obligations come to family and work, and those get in the way of a lot of what I would rather be doing, as all of us, right? So the new series that I'm going to be doing to get to that, I'm calling it The Trail Till Now, as in, off-road related or outdoor hunting related, things like that. And then the life, right? So life is your trail, and the journey until the next segment, right? So The Trail Till Now, I think, is a good way to assimilate between Xfil Off-Road, civilians, the military side of things, some people not being capable to go outdoors and do these things, maybe through military service and having significant injuries that stop them from doing these things, but yet they would like to, and through that experience of going and seeing other parts of the world. So each segment will be essentially an update / event, or a new journey, right? So hopefully it works out. I hope you guys are interested in that kind of content. If you're not, I'll know very quickly, obviously. But if you are, the the number one thing I think to assist with that from the community would be maybe content related suggestions, right? Because at that point, it's just kind of like, what are we going to cover for this segment? And I don't know that necessarily there's going to be a segment that it's not going to be scheduled like, hey, every week there's going to be a new one. It's just going to be come as they come and they don't as they don't. Because again, like I have a life, I have things that I have obligations to, and that often gets in the way of all this other stuff. But that's what it is. And to give you a little bit further background about myself. So I spent 5 years active duty, United States Army. I was 11 Bravo infantry, and then I reclassed to support. But then in support, I was attached to an infantry unit. And so I really kind of never left infantry. I just kind of left walking around and humping everywhere. So on my last deployment to Afghanistan, I went through quite a bit. I spent 12 months in Afghanistan, and it really changed the way I looked at the world. I came back mid-tour about 4 days after my daughter was born, and I was with her for 15 days and then left her again when she was 18 days old for another 6 months. Before she was born, I was a gunner on one of our MRAP vehicles, which are these big trucks, right? And before I even found out that I was even having a daughter, I went through a pretty significant ambush, and my assistant gunner ended up passing away from injuries in that firefight inside from my truck. And he left behind a 4-year-old son. So at that point, I guess the best way to put it is mortality became very real. Instead of being a young 24-year-old that was just out there doing his thing, it transformed me into this person that kind of was like, whoa, like I may not even know if I'm having a boy or a girl, or if my wife's having a boy or a girl. I may not ever meet my baby. It changed my perspective on those things. So after getting the opportunity to actually go home and meet my kid and be with her for 2 weeks, I had to leave again. And going back was really hard. I struggled with a little bit of depression. I felt like I was a terrible dad. I felt like I didn't know my kid. And then ultimately I started to consider like what I was going to do after deployment, after this contract. And it ended up being that I was going to get out and, try to make try to make better money than I was in the military. And then also not have to face deployments and not being there for my kid and my family. Because ultimately when you go through those kind of things, what is that death benefit? Because that's what we're all looking at, right? Is a death benefit if you don't make it back from combat. And I know plenty of people that deployed multiple times, and ultimately some of them ended up on 4th, 5th, 6th deployments not coming home. And then as well as first deployment not coming home. So they give you this death benefit, $450,000. And in the grand scheme of things, $450,000 is not a lot of money, and it doesn't do a lot for your family. But to digress, I did it for a reason. I came from poverty. I had nothing to my name. I did it to sacrifice and make those sacrifices that I think that a lot of people aren't willing to make to better my life. And it worked. It accomplished the goal set. But post-deployment, what I ended up dealing with, what that wasn't expected essentially, was a lot of anger issues. And I struggled with people, and I still struggle with people. I consider myself a professional. I'm very good at what I do in my career, but I don't relate to people very well. I look at the world very differently, I think, than I feel a lot of people do. Maybe some of that's just in my own head. Other things I think are very relevant and actually significantly proven to that I do look at things differently. But so that relating to people has always been hard, and I know that that's true for a lot of other combat veterans. And not to be disrespectful, but there is a massive difference between a combat veteran and a veteran. We both served. There's no disrespect to it. There's nothing to it. But physiologically, mentally speaking, those stressors have changed our thinking, our thought process, our way of handling things at a level that other people that haven't gone through that don't. So in that, outdoor life was my escape, going fishing, going hunting, and then as when I went to California, not having the ability to go hunting and fishing as readily as I was in Colorado, I ended up finding off-roading, and it kind of replaced the inability to have regular hunting and fishing access. So it's been a really good experience to just get away from things and like reconnect with myself and have a good time doing it. If you're one of those people that maybe sees this or thinks this way or knows people that are struggling with these kind of things, encourage that outdoor experience, encourage the outlet, right? So that's what this whole thing was built for, was the outlet to be able to, just for myself, just to get away from things, have something else to detract from everyday life. Even when I wasn't off-roading, doing an install, something like that, it took up time, it takes up energy, and it's like you're putting in good work into something that you can take pride in. So that was what the Exfil Off-Road brand was built for, was just for me to have something to do, to give back to the community and release some of those anxieties, I guess, in life in a positive way. And so far I've gotten a lot of positive responses from the community that watches it. Hey, thanks for this video. Hey, thanks for that. Like, and it's great. And that's the whole point of these YouTube videos, right? Is I think for at least the Jeep community, the off-road community, is to help other people, to give them advice or guidance on something that maybe they haven't seen how to do, and that's all they need or are missing to do it themselves. So I'm going to continue to do those as I can, but I see those opportunities becoming less and less because these Jeeps are getting pretty well built, and I don't intend to just get rid of a Jeep just to build another Jeep, like I've seen some people do, which is great for them. And I mean, content galore, but I don't intend to do that financially, nor, I mean, I like my vehicles, so I don't want to get rid of them, because you never know what you're going to get in the next one and what kind of problems that's going to come with. So that's this, that is the gist of this episode. I wanted to introduce it to you guys. I hope that you guys are looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to producing them, and going from there. Please reach out for assistance with suggestions, feedback, things like that. I would really appreciate it. And other than that, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys spending the last 10 or so minutes with me. And we'll see you on the next segment of The Trail Till Now. My name's Josh, and this is Exfil Off-Road, The Trail Till Now.